Now, one of the things that as we go further with this, you need to know is that it's a zone across the United States in the South where there are far more kidney stones than in the mid and particularly the northern states. And when I look at this, I frequently think of that big area of this being Texas. For years, we had license plates that had written on them, Texans eat beef. Well, it's good to have beef in your diet, but you need to have a balanced diet. And to just be a meat and taters guy is not healthy. And that is all too common in the South, is you don't think you've had a meal until you've had meat. Whereas if you reduce the amount of meat, you reduce the instance of stones. But you can see as you go north, you have a reduced number of stones. And this is based on thousands of cases that the Center for Disease Control in the South gathers information. Now, again, why is probiotics in promoting these organisms in the gut important? The number one stone in the urinary tract is calcium oxalate, and I have a uh, insert there that shows that it's like two carbon dioxide molecules, CO2, that you have two negative charges that are on the extra oxygen there, and it's negative charges, and the calcium has two positive charges. And I frequently use bar magnets that people are familiar with to try to get across that these molecules, too small to see, have charges on them. And if it's a positive charge on one molecule and a negative on another, they bind together just like two bar magnets that frequently, when you're young, you play with a little black and a little white Scotty dog attached to them. And you find out you can put a piece of paper between them and you can cause one of them to follow with the other one, or you can reject it. If you go out positive to positive and negative to negative, you can feel them pushing away from each other, but you can feel attraction when you put positive toward the negative. And this is why calcium and this carbohydrate, which we have plenty of in our body, you don't want to get organisms in your urinary tract that promote this attraction between calcium and carbon dioxide. Now, this is the type of kidney stones and the incidence of them that are present, and that about 80% of urinary tract stones are calcium oxalate, just like I just showed you the molecular structure of, and they are radio opaque and they're spherical. They lead to staghorn stones in the kidney, and the men is higher incidence of calcium oxalate stones than women's, particularly men over 30, and it increases by the time they're 40. Now, calcium phosphate is no more than 5% of the stones, and that a lot of water, which we're encouraged to drink, helps reduce calcium oxalate and calcium phosphate stones. And you see your calcium phosphate stones primarily in people that have parathyroid type abnormalities and changes in the calcium levels in the serum. And the treatment to reduce phosphate stones is to take intake that alkalinizes the urine. Now, 10% of the stones are from uric acid, and uric acid comes from the metabolism of nucleic acids, which are in every cell. And again, urine volume helps reduce this. And you see more uric acid stones in patients that have gout, which have higher levels of uric acid in the serum, and it oftentimes causes pain in the joints and tendons. You see uric acid stones also increased in type 2 diabetes and also in some of your chronic diarrheal diseases. And these other stones are less frequent. Fact is, the Stuvite stone is primarily in people with a neurogenic bladder having no control of the sphincter. And this comes in people that have anatomic abnormalities. And one of those is in children that have a neural tube defect that is abnormal development. And the cystine stones are a different, very low incidence stone. It's primarily due to an inherited metabolic defect. So again, back to your uric acid stones, I have the molecular structure of uric acid that you see there in the right upper corner. And as I say, it's primarily found in patients that have gout or high uric acid levels in their blood. And this comes from the metabolism in the liver of the purines, which are adenosine and guanine that bind to the pyrimidines, thymidine and cysteine. And to avoid uric acid stones, if you tend to have a problem with this, you don't consume tuna fish, trout, sardines, liver, animal organ meat. This would be something that a person that has had uric stones would try to avoid. And you would consume more fruits, vegetables, rice, nuts, berries, and beans. And this is interesting in that the blue zones of the National Geographic Society, which the number one common denominator for all the blue zones is a high intake of fruits, vegetables, rice, nuts, berries, beans, sweet potatoes, various plant materials. And this is seemingly the human metabolism is more receptive to a plant diet to avoid different problems. Now, again, one of the reasons you're interested in the good bacteria being present in the large bowel is that estimated about 8% of the population tends to form kidney stones, and you want to avoid that. And that they found out that whereas the males have always been more higher incidence, and it increases with age, that the incidence in females for the last 30 years has been increasing. And I don't think anyone knows why. But one of the things you can do is increase water intake. And the diabetes increases stone formation of both sexes. Beer and wine consumption does not affect the incidence of kidney stones. And of course, it's lifestyles and choices of your diet that are important in stone formation. And a high plant-based diet reduces stone formation, as is advocated by the National Geographic Society with their blue zones. And that unfortunately, we're turning more and more to French fried franchises for fast foods, and this is often built around some kind of meat, and this promotes stone formation. And the type of bacteria that get into the urinary tract system is very important, and to take measures to reduce this, because particularly the E. coli that is so common in the bowel, you don't want in the urinary tract. And of course, we have previously emphasized that good fluid intake reduces stone formation. So I hope that this is important to you to pay attention to, in regard to the fact that the body has many bacteria in multiple locations. You want to keep them at bay by having a good balanced diet, which supports the host defenses of the immune system, both the cellular and humoral, which is the protective molecules that are in serum that don't have cells like the white cells. And of course, a poor diet, poor hygiene practices, various types of trauma, and diabetes too can change the or reduce the body's ability to fight infection and decrease host defenses. And what you want to do is to prevent infections. And there's nothing like a well-balanced diet to support the body's innate gene control defenses. And the genes can only work if you provide in your diet the nutrient molecules that are used in cellular synthesis to make the compounds that run the normal biochemistry and defense systems of the body, and to keep the bacteria in the areas they are and not in areas where they cause problems. And I have emphasized that there's worldwide research that the friendly bacteria in the gut contribute significantly to the quality of life and health of the individual. And I like to point out that even in the Greek literature, thousands of years ago, they spoke of the fountain of youth. And there's been, over the years, many articles about the fountain of youth, and it's often looked for on isolated islands or mountain peaks. But yet the fountain of youth is showing scientifically to be centered probably between your ears, about your thoughts and self-discipline to eat a broad diet, have healthy habits, and keep your body in, shall we say, good fighting condition to fight against microorganisms that are all over the body in different locations. So that is the end of this effort to try to get across the importance of the types of bacterial organisms that are particularly in the GI tract and the contributions they make to good health. Thank you. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. If you learned something from this video or found this information helpful, please click the subscribe button to help this channel grow and be available to other people.